Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, Mr. T. You guys are probably gonna kill me for this, but we are finally back with top 5 Kino der Toten secrets. It's absolutely so funny. You guys are probably like, yes! Oh my god! Yes, guys, we are finally starting up the top 5 secrets series again, and if you haven't seen my last 4 videos, go check them out now. Please watch them because it won't make sense if you just watch this video first. You're gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? I talk about a bunch of stuff there that will most likely get into this video here. But now with this, guys, I'm finally going to be making this a little bit more frequent. I won't just wait a whole month and say, oh yeah, I'll be next week. Don't worry. I will be more sort of strict on myself to bring these out every week, and I hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna plow straight through this Black Ops series. But anyways, guys, let's head down straight into our number 5 spot. And in today's video, this is going to be the Pack-a-Punch room secrets and the map origin of Kino der Toten. Now with Kino der Toten, guys, if you don't know, in German this means cinema or the theater of the dead. And in my personal opinion, I believe this is another continuation of Richtofen's evil deeds. And while we go throughout the video, you will most likely see that. Now let's get back to the Pack-a-Punch room in general. So around the map, or around this room, you can actually find a lot of little secret tidbits about the zombie storyline. So let's just talk about that for a second. On this wall, you're able to see a couple of pictures. Obviously, we have seen this one of a zombie anatomy, but also they added a really cool edition of the Hellhound anatomy. But what's really interesting is if you look on the desk below these two sort of anatomy pictures, you will be able to find a name tag of he who must not be named in the zombie saga. That is not Voldemort, it is Max's, guys, but it is pretty funny. We can also tell this is Max's desk because there's like bits of the element 115 rock on this sort of pad here, and he's just sort of playing with it. And personally, I believe this to be a fake or a sort of vision in a way, because I feel that if you haven't watched my Der Secrets video, you can actually find Ludwig Maxis' name tag there, and I believe that was where Maxis truly ended off. That was the end for Maxis. We never really see him again, and I believe Kino der Toten is sort of a collection of memories from the past. It's sort of like Richtofen having an introspection of his life and just saying, wow, this is what all I've been through, this is all the stuff I've seen, and we can truly see this with all the secret rooms around the map on Kino. Again, I will talk about that a lot more. We can also see, like in Verrückt, you can see a head along by the surgical chair, which would be Maxis' head with my Verrückt secrets video. You can see little cool stuff on these secret rooms that all allude to Richtofen in a certain sort of way, and that's what I personally believe. And this kind of reminds me of the one quote by Picasso, which is saying art is a lie which makes you realize the truth. And that's why I feel this map is truly the cinema of the dead. Art is sort of like a cinematic picture, and this is what Richtofen's sort of introspection is. It's Kino der Toten, which is really cool in that sense of a way. And also talking about Kino der Toten, if you guys do not know, it was supposed to be the 5th DLC for World at War, and the DG2, or the Wunderwaffe DG2, was actually supposed to be in this map. There are actually unused sound files still residing in the map, which is really cool if you think about it. And also, if you look on the terminal or the CIDA system in the Call of Duty Black Ops main screen, if you type in R login Dreamland and then V Bush and the password as either Majestic 1 or Manhattan Down, you will be able to find a sort of directory of pictures for Kino der Toten. Now there's actually 4 pictures that you can find. You have to press DIR and you'll be able to see these 4 pictures, and then type cat and then the picture's name, and then you'll be able to see them, which again is like the Der Secrets video of there being a sort of alternate time before the characters actually made it into this area. Now personally, what I believe is that if we go back to the Pack-a-Punch room, there's actually a bulletin board that has this very weird quote in German, and translated into English it says, hold on men, we'll finish them. And then it says at the bottom right, it says they laugh and they shrugged it off, which I personally makes me believe that the group 9 through 5 was initially here, but they realized that the zombies basically fucked them over and they started eating them. they eating the group 935, and that's why I just feel like these guys just sort of laughed it off. They sort of knew that in a way that they're kind of fucked. They're kind of done, you know? And this is another reason I personally feel like the name of the background in the song is named Damned, which is really cool. Like the name of the song, it's always playing, by the way. I feel that's really cool. So that's the number 5 spot. We spent 5 minutes on it. Let's keep on going. So the number 4 spot, guys, this is going to be the storyline of the whole zombie saga. So let's start it off. If you go outside in this alleyway on Kino der Toten, you'll be able to find a German tower. And this German tower was only specifically in production between 1965 and 1969, which is the reason why this map is sort of figured out to be between those 4 years. And also we can tell because the group also went into the future from Dries. This was apparently around 30 years into the future, and we can tell because in the pictures on the walls you can actually look at Takio and Dempsey, and Takio looks much older and Dempsey has a lot more, he looks a lot more dirtier with scars, and personally I believe this was Richtofen treating them badly and just sort of screwing them over. And let's talk about the portraits, guys. A lot of people believe, or there's a lot of speculation about this sort of whited out portrait, and my personal opinion, I still believe that this portrait is Richtofen, even though Richtofen is on the bigger frame. He's in the bigger picture, and my personal belief about this is that Richtofen moved from the smaller picture into the bigger picture, which is sort of like from what he did in Black Ops 1, he was sort of as a crew member, and into Black Ops 2, he became one of the bigger Easter egg guys. That's personally my opinion, but if you go on to this other side of the map, you will find that all 4 of the portraits are whited out, which personally may be believing that in the end all 4 of them are all going to die, and it's going to be a bad, brutal ending, and no one might remember them. And that's why I feel like this map is such an important part of this story, because it's like a remembrance. It's like Richtofen trying to say, remember us, guys, remember us, the original 4, and obviously a lot of people do. Anyways, let's keep on looking at it. It's also a memorial because one of the books lying on the ground actually has the title saying Edward Richtofen, which is really, really cool, and I feel like it's sort of the past coming to get him, and it's sort of kind of weird how it's doing that. And also there is evidence of the original crew being here, obviously, because there are unused perk bottles behind this sort of cabinet, and also there's a ton of vodka bottles lying around. Obviously we know that Nikolai has truly become his funny self, and we all love it and enjoy it. Now also really another cool thing, like I said, is with the loading screen on Kino der Toten, we can see all the illusions with Peter McCain and stuff like that, but we can also confirm that what I said in Dries was true, that Richtofen screwed up with the original characters' heads, and then they went into Kino der Toten, and the loading screen shows that perfectly, which is really, really cool. And lastly about this is that you can find this quote on the wall that says Brimstone Damnation, and if you look up Brimstone, the first thing you'll probably find on Google is the Brimstone Conspiracy, and this is sort of a way of saying like the devil and Richtofen sort of have a link in a way, and they're just going absolutely crazy. Richtofen is again going crazy out of his mind, and also this is one of the very first maps that we can see that Richtofen is having sort of these visions or screwed up thoughts about the Illuminati, and you can see all the eyes of Providence everywhere. If you don't know what that is, it's the triangle, guys. It's the triangle that everyone makes fun of and stuff, and we can also see this in the portals. When you go in the portals, you can actually find that there are eyes of Providence there, which is actually pretty cool. So anyways, guys, let's go down straight into our number 3 spot, and in this one, this is going to be the Project Nova 6 and the Sun. Very weird titles, I know, but let's get straight into it. Now, if you've ever played Kino der Toten, and if you hoarded on the theater, you will be able to see these several pods of sort of the little black cartridges of big, I don't know, it's just these cartridges on the theater, and you probably don't really know what's inside, but if you take a look, you'll be able to actually find faces. You'll be able to see little faces of people, and honestly, I didn't even figure this out until just recently, and I've played Kino a lot, guys, and this kind of freaked me out when I just saw this, and you can actually find that one has actually broken out of the casket, and you're like, holy shit, what the hell is that? And personally, I went onto the trivia, and it said that these were the monkeys that sort of happened between, like, in 5, you know, there's little monkeys in the cage. This is a sort of other variation, and I thought it was the Cosmic Silverback at first, but obviously, this was not the Cosmic Silverback. This is the Project Nova 6. These are the Nova 6 crawlers, and these are how they are born, which is really, really scary, and it's really, really cool to see that. And one more little clue that kind of confirms confirms my suspicions about this is that if you go to this certain area on Kino der Toten, there are a bunch of sort of letters that are scattered on the ground. Now it's really weird because on these letters you can sort of make out Manhattan Down and Project Nova 6. And what I said about Manhattan Down earlier is that Manhattan Down was actually the password to one of the pictures, or to the pictures of Kino der Toten on the CIDA, which I believe, in my personal opinion, makes up for this being sort of confirmed. And lastly, on this number 3 spot, the German Sun Cinema sign is outside in the alleyway, which is pretty cool. But the really weird thing that also supports my theory is that if you go onto the chalkboard in the Pack-a-Punch room, you will actually be able to find a quote that says Black Sun in German. I personally makes me believe that the Kino der Toten has been corrupt. It's sort of Richthofen's mind becoming corrupt in that sort of area. We can also see quotes of Hyena saying that I know it was you, and it's also a quote of help, alluding way back to the Nocturne Toten help quote on the wall, and a lot of cool stuff like that. But anyways, let's head on straight into our number 2 spot. And in this one, this is going to be the ruler of zombies. Now, particularly in this time, at the moment in Kino der Toten, Samantha is the ruler of the zombies. And we can clearly see that because there's a teddy bear that again represents Samantha that's watching over these 4 little perks on the table. And my personal opinion is this is like Samantha playing with the characters, and the perks, the quadrinity of the perks, Jug, Speed Cola, Double Tap, and Quick Revive represent the quadrinity of the main characters, which is pretty cool in a sense like that. And obviously we know Samantha's in control because there's even quotes on the wall that says Samantha, Amelia, and Abigail, which are all the middle names and the first name of Samantha. And again, when you say something in a sort of repetition of 3, or putting the same thing 3 times, it means it's the most powerful, which is another really cool thing about that. And again, about the ruler of zombies, way back when, before Kino der Toten, it was the devil that was essentially the ruler of the zombies. And the first map we can actually see with that is Mob of the Dead, which is really cool. But we can also see an allusion to this in Kino der Toten. Now obviously there's a quote in the starting room that says beware of the 6. Obviously this represents the dogs and how they come at round 6, but also I believe this says beware of the 6. 6 is a common number to relate to the devil. And also another cool thing is that we can see these movie posters on the map. One particularly looks like it has the devil on it, but it's actually a demon, and this is representing the movie Faust. And now there's actually these sort of 3 movie posters around the map. The first one is Faust, the second one is Pygmalion, and the last one is Die Bismarck. Now Die Bismarck is actually just a ship, and I'll be talking about that in the number 1 spot. But the Faust and Pygmalion are actually real life movies. Now in Faust, I'll briefly describe it. I read on the Wikipedia. It's basically how a demon bets an angel that he can corrupt a man on earth, but in the end of the movie it shows that love conquers all, and that's the sort of message in this. Now Pygmalion again has the same sort of betting scenario as Faust does, and it has the same sort of message that love wins in the end. So again, we could be seeing something corny like this and zombies, but I guess the main feeling that they wanted to get was that this is just a really hellish type of ruling system that they have in zombies, and that kind of transpires. Now anyways guys, let's head on into our number 1 spot, and in today's video, this is going to be the map illusions and Black Ops 3. That's right, you heard it, Black Ops 3. But anyways, let's first talk about the Die Bismarck. Now the Die Bismarck, if you look it up, it is a very similar ship that if you Google image it, that is actually on Call of the Dead. So again, this could have been a little future illusion. And another really cool thing on this map is that there are generators around the map. Now you're probably looking at me and you're like, wow, generators, what does that mean? But there are actually 6 generators, and it's surprising that there's 6 because what else has 6 generators? Origins has 6 generators to turn on the power, and it's really cool because you can find all these 6 generators around the map. And I guess that was just a little idea Treyarch came up with for future maps. Now you can also find a ton of Ascension map illusions. You can find the Reaper Ghost in blood all around the map. There's some in the starting room, all the way up to the double tap room, to the theater, everywhere. They're all around, and it's absolutely absolutely unbelievable. And also, you can find a ton of rocket ships in the secret room. You can find a rocket ship blueprint, and you can physically see the Ascension rocket in the flesh, which is really, really cool. You can see a sort of model of it. Now, lastly, let's get on to the big juicy news of Black Ops 3. Now, with Black Ops 3, Treyarch actually decided to release a podcast or sort of live stream of how they created zombies, or the sort of ideas that they came up with. And there's actually a really, really cool thing that you can find in Kino der Toten. It's a sort of bookmark in this window on this book, and it says Ignomo Jubilis, which in Latin actually means a laughable mistake. And I personally believe that if zombies wasn't created, it would have been a laughable mistake on Treyarch's part. And I believe because this was a sort of coincidence, this sort of has some sort of tie with it. This could have also been relating to the storyline about group 935 and the whole Edward Richtofen thing and traveling with the teleporters. It could have been relating to that, but I personally believe it relates onto Treyarch's part. Now, lastly, with the Black Ops 3 news, everyone believes that the first map is going to be in Egypt. Now, if you go into the secret room on this sort of Samantha's room and the sort of corrupted version of Samantha's room, you will be able to find a little model of what looks to be, or what shape to be, Egypt. And also, you can find the original characters on that, and you can also see the Samantha teddy bear possibly being the creator. But you also above that, you can see a Foss poster, which again could be the devil in itself again. Now, I don't know if this is going to be Egypt for Black Ops 3, but if you recall in the origin cutscene, Samantha walks through that door at the end, which is where the sort of model of Egypt could be. So possibly the first map could be Egypt. That would be really damn sick. And also in the corrupted version of Samantha's room, you can find the Egypt map, but with no players and nothing. It's just sort of gone, and the map is still there, which again, I don't know what it means. It could mean Black Ops 3. I am not totally sure. That is up to you. Now, again, what also makes me believe this is on the description of Kino der Toten. It says, it reads that new twists and clues could uncover the final plan of zombies, which is really cool in that sense. And lastly, I'm just going to leave you with this, that it's going to be knowledge itself is for the taking, which is above the power. So again, that relates to this video, it relates to this, it relates to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did manage to stay during this whole 17-minute video, I applaud you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's see if we can hit 2,500 likes for the next secrets video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you again so much, and I'll see you in the next one.